And is that how kind of like the business operates? It's kind of like a studio that realizes someone's vision rather than like you have ideas and then you search for a publisher who can back those and get behind it.
Yeah, so I actually see it as not a mutually exclusive proposition. I think that we have lots of ideas, and whether we're pitching on our own ideas or whether someone comes to us with some ideas, and I think that's the same thing, actually, because at the end of the day, if we are going to produce the thing and we are the games designers of the product, then they are our ideas, essentially. So if someone wants to, if someone comes with a full plan and we're just executing on it, I guess that is different. And that's kind of like, we're just developing someone else's thing. But most of the time, so far, it's been, we have this idea, do you think it's a good idea? And then we'll hash it out. And our ideas come together and then we'll, turn that into some technological product. But at the moment, it's been, us selling our own games ideas, and as well as this project that came in. But yeah, the thing that I enjoyed about doing that for their own IP was that they didn't really have a solid plan for it. They had some ideas, and they were like, these are the types of games that we could make with it, and it gave me a license and a palette of tools to go away and go, okay, so it's not a first-person shooter. Okay, whatever this game is not that. It's not a small puzzle game. It's not a strategy game. It's not some of these things, so we can just put those away. So what is it? And it's quite refreshing for me, because I think more of myself as a games designer to have that playground to think of ideas in and go, I think this is really cool. Uses all the stuff you've got. We can build it out this way. It's technically possible. Hopefully, the project manager thinks it's possible in the time limit, the time frame. So I quite enjoy that as well. I don't really feel like a person who has that novella type game in them. I've got lots of different ideas, but I'm quite happy just to have another one tomorrow, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
What does it take to set up a game studio? Because obviously, like you mentioned, there are varying turnarounds based on how busy you're going to be with projects.
Yep.
But from just the initial setting up point of how you're actually going to make it real, like what are the steps that go into making that studio?
Well, you have to have money, ideally. I think it's different. I think it's different for indie, right? Like we're an indie games company, but we don't want to be an indie games company, if you know what I mean.
Does indie carry like negative connotations to you? Do you think it speaks to a certain type of game?
Well, I think, so I think there are bedroom coders, and then there were indie devs, and probably small development companies, and they all get called indie. And I think there's a lot of difference between them, and then there's nothing very much, and some people call that big gulf of nothing AA, and then there's AAA. So I don't know what most people are talking about when they say indie, to be honest.
I mean, it's the same with music. Like indie, when it first started, meant
exactly,
something very different. But I've seen some indie games come out and it's like it's backed by a AAA studio, or it has this massive budget and huge team.
Exactly, massive budget, or it's got like a team of like 20. Like what's it? What does it mean now? Is it probably a marketing term? Is it a branding thing now, rather than a?
It's become a genre rather than a.
Yeah, exactly.
An actual label of.
Yeah, like our company, Nuclear Candy Games. I see it as a small games development studio. I'd like to grow to about 40, and that'll be it. Like for me personally, unless investors or whatever say it needs to be different, because that's obviously attention. As the bigger you get, the probably more money there is in the company, or there's more people that are controlling that money probably. But you can also choose to stay small. Like there's subset games, I think, who made Into the Breach and things like that. There's just two guys, and they work with freelancers, but it's mostly those two guys, and I think they make a choice to stay small, and I think that's really valid, especially if you can deliver great products and have a nice time doing it. I think there's nothing wrong with that.